Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. And today I would like to share with you my review of the Scorpion King, that is Modern Nuclear MNP-XH15 Lubu model kit. The TLDR of this review is pretty much Modern Nuclear knocks it out of the park yet again, and I absolutely love the design aesthetic and color scheme of this kit. And before we dive into the detail, a quick message about the store that got me this kit for review. I buy almost all of my figures and third-party kits at Gunpla.com. They offer great prices, awesome customer service, and a nice points program. If you decide to shop for your next kit or figure there and would like to support this channel even more, consider using reviewer code SKH. It helps the channel a lot. As always, do your own research and only purchase from stores that you are comfortable with. Now, back to the video. A quick disclaimer. I got this kit for free, but Gundam or Modern Nuclear do not get any input or creative control over my reviews. They pretty much provide the kit at their own risk and I just do my thing. And that is only because of your support. So remember to like and subscribe, and if you happen to shop at Gundam or any of their other storefronts, use reviewer code SKH. Now with the boring stuff out of the way, Lubu, or how I like to call it, the Scorpion King. The reason I call it that is simple. This kit has a ton of insect or arachnid-like design elements, and especially because of its sectioned front and back waist armor. The kit comes in a master grade sized box measuring 21 by 16 by 7 inches that weighs about 5.5 pounds. We get a standard but quality Modern Nuclear action base and a pretty easy to follow manual booklet. No plastic type indications or water decals here, but we get the convenience of runner indicators per stage, which is neat. As per usual with Modern Nuclear, the plastic quality is superb and extra so for the Scorpion King. I want to particularly highlight the black armor plastic on this beauty. I think they did phenomenal job ensuring that this dark plastic has some sort of polished candy coat-like look straight out of the box. It just makes the out-of-the-box experience feel very premium. We also get quite a lot of gold and silver plated plastic, which is done well. However, due to the design considerations like here on the shoulders, even the undergates can be pretty visible. Then the inner armor or muscle plastic is dark purple and very reminiscent of the original in-era Thunderbolt. I also enjoy the transparent plastic on this kit, as Modern Nuclear went an extra mile to paint the silver backing on a few parts. The coolest looking ones are on the knees. The depth effect is just so sexy. Lastly, I'm not a super big fan of the red parts, which are pretty much the same color as Molly King's red parts. Here they once again use a toned down crimson shade that doesn't really pop, and in my opinion is a little bit of a miss. I would have preferred either a darker or a brighter tone, something notable, as this dull crimson is just plain in comparison to the rest of the kit, and especially in comparison with the shiny black plastic. Moving on to the inner frame. As per usual with Modern Nuclear, the inner frame comes in pre-assembled metal parts in a separate box. I observed no rust or fitment issues with mine. The joints are smooth but sturdy enough to support most articulation angles and poses. Let's go over the articulation from bottom to top before we dive into the highlights of this kit, which are the accessories. Popping the kit off the action base, there is a very beefy POM plastic crotch attachment for the action base adapter, and here Modern Nuclear also makes sure that the mounting peg on the action base neck itself is die-cast, which is a very thoughtful touch. Starting with the legs, let's flip one of the antennas out of the way, and the ankles are on a sturdy metal joint and can articulate front to back, with the front part having some independent range of motion. Side-to-side swivel is not independent, however. The ankle armor does not seem to move, but the front flap can be flipped up to give you some extra range of motion. Going up to the lower leg, we don't get any armor interconnects, but the assembly is layered very nicely and looks quite organic. When we bend the knee, you can see the metal joint separation and thigh armor slide gimmick. The bend is quite decent and goes beyond 90 degrees. This angle also lets me show one of the 3 customizations I did to this kit. Here on the thighs of both legs, I silver coated some of the gray inner frame plastic that pokes through the armor. I honestly was just itching to do anything custom with this kit, as Scorpion Scorpion King honestly is pretty much a complete and easy to assemble package straight out of the box. No need to pen align or decal, so silver lining is literally my silver lining here. But I digress. Going past the thighs, you can see the smoothness of the joints in action and the extent of the angles we can achieve here. We can't quite do a full split, but that's only because of the waist armor. And speaking of the waist armor, the front skirt has this straight-up Egyptian scarab/scorpion vibe and has this sectioned construction that I was talking about earlier. Absolute beauty. Side skirts are also sectioned, but their standout feature are these articulated red effect parts. These add a very nice airy feel to your poses and are pretty easy to work with. The back skirt is a beefy triple section flap construct, and here I did some silver lining as well, on a few gray thruster and inner frame parts. Going up to the torso, unlike with the larger scale Molly King, we don't get an intricate spine armor construction here, and the relatively small, even for the scale backpack, has 3 attachment options for the accessories. The torso turns easily, but the front to back bands are somewhat limited. There is a bit of torso ab crunch and extension, but it is very little. With the Scorpion King, you achieve the crunch ab effect by thrusting the pelvis forwards. And here you can also see my final customization spot for this kit. The front collar has these 2 silver parts, which normally house gray inner frame plastic pieces, and I thought they were perfect for some silver. The head is on a very stiff neck and ball joint, which is very good as the 2 insect antennas add a little bit of weight, and we also don't get any replacement faceplates here, like we did with the Molly King. But the main faceplate is pretty cool looking with those insectoid fangs. The antennas are a little tedious to build as they consist of roughly 20-ish parts each, but the wire is pretty good and balanced well, so I had no issues playing around with it. The only thing to watch out for are the end points of both antennas. You might want to glue them on, as they can slide out and cause all of those 20 sections to fall off. Don't ask me how I found that out, but trust me, you don't want to scour your workshop looking for them damn things. Now moving on to the arms. The metal butterfly joints are fabulous, lots of range of motion, and the extension is very much appreciated when you deal with the archer bows. The shoulders can rotate and swivel a little bit, but because they are so massive and are used to hold accessories in some configurations, their sturdiness is highly appreciated. The arms are pretty straightforward with rotation at the bicep and forearms, and a very decent double jointed band at the elbow. Lastly, we get 10 pairs of hands, and be very careful assembling those, as some of the finger variations have keyed parts which are easy to mistake for gates and cut out. Once again, don't ask me how I found that out, a noob builder here in Flash. The hands also have an undersling accessory configuration to hold the bow or the mini shield. It's a very smart way to make it look like you are holding them in hands, but in reality a dedicated attachment bears all the weight. Now, the accessories, my favorite. First, the spear. It is a very simple yet tasteful construction. Very good clear plastic, the very same shiny black plastic, and a pretty long shaft, giggity, with a little bit of a nubbin at the end. And the most important accessory is of course the massive and super duper cool Mecha Archer bow. In this particular configuration there are 2 bows in one with some extra effect parts and the arrow built in. This configuration is also so heavy that the metal joints can't hope to hold it upright, so the included action base add-on is very much needed. The bow accessories in this kit are modular, so we can easily take them apart, and this modularity is what I particularly enjoyed about the Scorpion King. I mean, the guide shows us a few ways to configure them, and I tried a few permutations. First, I did the classic archer pose with the lightweight bow in the left hand and an arrow in the right hand. You actually get a special arrow holding attachments for both hands. Then you can take apart the lightweight bow and create a little scoop out of it and use the included modular manipulator arm to attach it to the backpack. The parts of the other heavy jet bow can be attached to one of the shoulders on a dedicated mounting plate. Grabbing the spear in one hand, you can see the extended range of motion in the legs and ankles and how much aura these articulated waist skirts give to the pose. It just looks like it's mid-motion and ready to strike. Then I went for something a little more more challenging to test the limits. I assembled a large claw hand with the help of both bows and all parts of the manipulator arm, which at this stage was not strong enough to support what felt like a pound of weight. But if you lean the assembly against one of the arms, there is enough support, and the claws can be used to grab the arrow as a spear. I think this pose is really good at showing the articulation limits of this kit. You can see the extension of the waist skirts, the bends of the legs and ankles, reverse extended pose for the left hand and how it carries the spear, and the limit of the accessory manipulator arm. I was once again very thoroughly impressed by this kit being able to pull off this pose. Last but not least, my favorite pose for this kit was this combination of the ultimate bow and the spear pulled back with the kit jumping backward. I wish there was more bend at the torso for greater effect, but the pelvic thrust is doing most of the heavy lifting, and I think this pose turned out fairly well. Once again, a shout out to the versatile accessory satellite mounting action base. No screws or loose fittings there, it simply works and looks superb. So, final thoughts on the Motor Nuclear MNP-XH15 Lubu, the Scorpion King. This kit is pretty dope. If you like the design aesthetic and the color scheme, the build process will be very easy and will take no time at all, but the final result will be superb and highly modular and posable mecha kit. Now, granted, while this kit is clearly different from Molly King, this is still very much in the same fantasy universe, so the vibes are quite similar. If I compare this bad boy to the likes of In Era Lizard or MG Comfort Schwer or the Fat Cat RX-72 or the Real Great Xeon, they are just so different. Like different hobbies entirely. Then the Fenrir and Osiris and Nemesis somehow look plain next to this Scorpion King. I think that is because of the plastic finish. I think Motor Nuclear really makes this kit look premium straight out of the box and with minimal effort, but my heart belongs to those mechanical beasts, and I'm really hopeful that their next release, the MNP-CR02A, will combine my favorite mechanical design elements with the Motor Nuclear's superb plastic quality, and we get a banger there. But time will tell. In the meantime, looking at the cost of Lubu on Gundamit, it seems that Motor Nuclear is intent on making us pay for the extra premium plastic quality, as Lubu is priced on par with the much larger Molly King. Whether this kit is worth $90, it depends. Compared to Bandai prices, yeah, absolutely. Compared to other high-quality third-party offerings, including those from Motor Nuclear, it seems to demand a little bit of a premium, and Molly King might give you more bang for your buck. However, if you decide to get a Lubu, I think the investment will be very much worth it, as the kit looks absolutely phenomenal, and variety of configurations will give you many hours of fun and joy, and I cannot wait to see what poses and configurations you will come up with. And don't forget to use reviewer code SKH if you are getting yours at Gundamit. It really supports the channel more than you can imagine. And that is about it. I hope that you enjoyed this review. Be sure to drop a like if you did and a comment if you really did. Subscribe for more cool content like this, and I live stream every Saturday, so hop on over and hang out. Also, all of my gear and tools are listed in the description of all of my videos. The links are affiliates, and every time you use them, you help me make more and even cooler videos. I also recently started a Flickr account where I post high-res pictures of my builds. It's free to check out and has lots of static shots that are not included in my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.